Hello and welcome to Knowledge by Nature. In today's video, we're going to be doing a mid-year update and we're going to be addressing some of the madness that is this shelf. So if that's something that you are interested in, I would love if you stick around. All right, welcome back. If this is your first time here, I am a homeschool mom to a third grader. We love all things books, homeschool, and sharing our journey with you. And if that is something that you are interested in, I would love if you consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you find this video helpful or informative, give me a thumbs up. All right, let's take a look here. I think we're like 80 something days into the year. If I can find this page. I always have it tabbed, but for some reason I never remember to click it there. All right, 86. Yes, we are 86 days into third grade, which means that I've probably done some curriculum changes and, some stuff has happened in the last 86 days. So I wanted to update you on some of the things that we maybe thought about using, maybe we weren't really planning to use, and just kind of let you know how things are going. Overall, it's going really pretty good. I know there's been a time before that I had this mid-year freak out. It was a long time ago, well, maybe 2 years ago. I'll put it right here in case you maybe are having a freak out as well. And that is where I started implementing this block schedule or loop schedule, more like it. And so that is something that has just continued to progress through the years. I've continued to do looping, and so I can happily say that we are covering all of the subjects that I feel we need to be covering. All right, so let's take a look at what I was thinking of at the beginning of the year and what we are doing, if we're doing any of this. So 5 days per week with 6 weeks on, 1 week off. We tried this and it backfired big time. It did not work well at all. She needs kind of a constant routine rhythm sort of going, and this just did not work. That week back was awful. So we have not tried this again. Not saying that we won't try it again later, but right now, no. And then when I had this idea of maybe we do 5 days with an extended weekend, we haven't really done that. And then I had this 4 days core and 1 day fun day. So we started a co-op, which is really great. We love it, but it's, kind of taken this option away because I don't get to do math and we don't really do reading in the co-op. And so for me, I don't count that as a core day. Maybe that could be her 1 day fun day, but that's not really what I had in mind either. So this isn't really working, and this is where I'm struggling the most with finding this rhythm, because the co-op has taken a day that used to be a full core day and it has changed that. We're learning, we're doing really, really cool stuff, but I don't count it as a full-on core day if I'm not doing math and reading. Then we also have this every other week that the dynamic kind of changes with the homeschool. And so there's some days it's we're rolling more like a 3-day core, which is taking some time for me to adjust to. We school year round, so it's not really a big deal. I'm just trying to get my head wrapped around how I like it, how it's working. So it is working. I don't feel like we're behind on anything for us, but I'm just struggling to find this rhythm. So this daily flow, I wanted to be at the table and starting by 9. I think we started off doing that, and then as winter gets here, it's just such a long day. It's hard to get out and do as much stuff. So then we started pushing it back. I'm not happy with pushing it back because I just feel like we're almost schooling all day long sometimes. So I do want to work on getting back to this. No TV or electronics before class. We have definitely done that. We've actually limited this even more. So I do like that we did that. It's working well, and it does help the day to get started. So even if we're not starting by 9, she's playing with toys, she's building things, she's doing a project or something. She's not on a TV or electronics, which I'm happy about. Then a string activity available every morning. I did this really, really strong until the holidays hit, and then I haven't really got this back in as well as I wanted to. So this is something that I need to kind of highlight and think about, like, let's bring this back in. And then finish all our core subjects by lunch. No, not happening. And again, that's something I need to tie back in because the first of the year was rolling just a little bit better. And so I think we need to do this. I think I need to, even though she may not want to do math really quickly, I think we need to do it and just have it over with, and it's off the board. So 4 days per week, this is what I consider a core day, is when we have done, we're just going to say math, reading, spelling, grammar, or writing, and then I like to tie in one of these to make it a core day. So you can see down here, we either do geography, typing, poetry, or word of the day. We have done very little poetry. We have done very little word of the day, and we have done very little typing. So there's that. We are doing really good with history. Science is different than what I anticipated, but we're doing good. Beast Academy, we're usually hitting every week or every other week. Reading eggs, we stopped. She just doesn't want to do it. So I think I've canceled my thing. I don't know if I still have it available, but we haven't done this in quite some time. And then logic. We usually are pretty good to do logic. Now, back here are just some more of like my 4-day ideas and my loop. So let's turn around and let's look at some of the curriculum that I have on my shelf. Okay, you know that I have all the craziness behind me on the shelf. All that stuff, that's the craziness I'm talking about. But 90% of the time, I would even venture out to say that 98% of the time, everything is coming from right here. This year, I know at the beginning of the year, everybody has these big ideas of like, a lot of times you're cutting back on stuff, you're exercising more. And so well before the first of the year, I was leaning towards this minimalism lifestyle. And one area that is not minimalist at all is our homeschool curriculum and the resources. So I'm really working on paring things down. I haven't done much yet, but it's in my mind every time that I don't grab for something. Maybe it's time to pass it on. So our story of the world, it's going pretty good. We haven't done any of the activity book, but I kind of wish that we were a little bit. I know I didn't like it last year, but I think I could kind of hold her attention to the subject just a little bit better if I did have something like that. But we are also starting this history timeline notebook, and we are liking this a lot. So when we talk about something, let me see, you can see we haven't done a ton of it, but right here, when we did our Charles Dickens Christmas, we went ahead and added the things to the timeline. And then on Martin Luther King Day, we also added some things. So if I can find any of these, you can see there's a few, but we haven't like done a lot. So here she just noted that Martin Luther King Jr. was born. And then we have like this big thing here. Here we were talking about the moon landing. So we're slowly adding to that. And I do really, really like this. So we haven't added a ton into it with Story of the World, but we've gone on a lot of history rabbit trails, which has been really enjoyable, and that is where we're putting it in this. Really, really like this a lot. I just think it's cool. Then we occasionally read out of this. This has been the hit so far. She loves this. We try to do it some sort of vet something every morning because that is her jam. So we're doing something animal related or something to do with this. We're really, really close to being done with this, but she loves this, and so we are definitely finishing that, and then we will move into this. So I'm just gonna, it's a morning thing that we get started with the day most of the time because that makes her happy that we're doing something vet related first thing of a morning. I pulled a few things the other day that I know we're going to be coming up on before too long. And like I said, I'm pulling from this most of the time. So I went ahead and just threw that in there. Poetry, we've done very little of this. I had done pretty well up until November, and then I haven't done much in the last few months. The word of the day was kind of a hit and miss. Skill sharpeners reading and critical thinking Haven't really done much in this, but I haven't quite needed it yet either. Another logic workbook. We're not doing that one as much as we are doing this one. Now, when we're done with mind benders, I am going to go ahead and roll over to this logic workbook. This one's a little bit different because it covers a wide range of ages, and so the activities are all just a little bit different than the mind benders. The mind benders is just really easy to give to her and say, do the next one. Let's look here. So we have our Earth, Science, and Astronomy. We liked this. We did it pretty well at the front. Then we started doing all these hands-on crafts, and that just is not something I can get going this year. I don't know. It's like we are overwhelmed with subscription boxes and craft boxes. I love them, but we're not making the time to do them, and they're just building up and up and up. I don't know. I've stopped like my KiwiCo because it's too much. Let's keep going. We're going to get to that in a little bit. We have our daily geography practice. Again, we were doing this fairly well. About every other week, I guess, we would do this before the holidays. But after the holidays, it's just been really hard to get going on a good rhythm again. We have our writing. I haven't done much of that because we are doing this, which is writing and rhetoric. We do this every other week. We are going at a snail's pace. I'm not going to lie, but she doesn't hate it. She's improving. We're going forward with it. So I don't care how slow we're going forward. We are going forward. And I really, really do like this. It works well for me. It works well for her. And again, we're slow, but I don't really care because we're going forward. Then we have this grammar and punctuation, which we do, if we're not doing this, we do this. And this is a really nice little visual guide. So whatever we are talking about in this, Evan Moore grammar and punctuation, we reference with this. So we go back. So if we were talking about singular and plural nouns, we would pull this up so that she could see exactly what we're talking about. It is a visual guide. Very, very nice. Let's see here. Cursive, I want to get going on, but we're not yet. She is doing like a page of this every once in a while. All About Reading is going fantastic. Really sad to know that this is our last level with it. We are going really slow with it just because we don't want to see it go. We're doing about 2 lessons a week, and that's it. We could definitely do more. She's reading really, really well, but we just love it. So we're holding on to it as long as we can. We started the year with dimensions, and then it just wasn't feeling right. So I moved back to primary mathematics, the original US edition. I absolutely love this. It just feels good. This is what I like. This is for me. This is what I like. It just feels really, really good for me. I like it, and she does well with it. We usually set a timer. Most of the time, we're able to complete a whole lesson in that time. If not, the timer goes off. We pick it back up. I'm trying not to be too overwhelming with it. I'm on this like weird fine line right now where I'm wanting to be like, ooh, could we get 2 lessons a day out of this every once in a while also like trying to relax. And so again, I'm struggling really, really bad with my rhythm. As I mentioned, I am struggling pretty hard with finding a good routine this year, but at least we're getting it done. Let's look at this madness over here. As I was editing, I realized I didn't mention times tails at all. This was something that we added on a little bit before the holidays. This is just one of the games. Each number 6, 7, 8, and 9 have a character. So right here, 7 is Mrs. Week. And this was an awesome, awesome way for her to get her times tails done. If I had to go back and do it, I would just buy the whole thing. From like 1 to 12, you can buy the whole program. It is so awesome. I think it is definitely worth its money. Again, she learned her 6, 7, 8, and 9s so quickly, a really, really fun way. And this is just a few of the printables you can do. It's fantastic. forgot to mention this completely because that wasn't anything that we had on our radar at the beginning of the year, but I love it. Again, if I could do it over, I'd just buy it all, and that way she easily had 1 to 12 taken care of, and it wouldn't have been any sort of issue. So, wanted to recommend this and pop that in here real quick since I forgot to mention it. I also forgot to mention spelling. We are on the very, very last lesson of step 1 or level 1, whatever you would want to call it. We will start that on Monday where we are doing lesson 34. I really like this. It seems to be working really well for her. We are switching it up just a little bit with the books that we're using, but we're just going to spelling 2. Traditional spelling, Memoria Press, really like it. I will insert a little card here so that you can see a flip through if you're interested. For starters, you will see that there are stuffies all over the place, which is really making this look really messy. The reason for that is because they were her classmates last week, and so they would come in and they would do class with us, so made it really fun. So I don't have a big deal with these stuffies. They're not bothering me too much, really. What is bothering me is the amount of resources that I have that I'm not using. And for instance, I didn't even realize I had this book. We talked about the moon the other day. When we walked on the moon, that would have been perfect to use, but I didn't even realize I had it up there, so I didn't use it. I did end up, this is a little bit different from the last few videos I've done, and I moved all of our picture books in here, pretty much all of them. I moved them in here. I do like them. I like them being in here. We're utilizing them a lot, but that's what I've got to figure out. I've got to figure out what I'm really using, what I'm not using. We tried to read this. I would definitely say this is a higher level book. There's a lot of sciencey information in here. Really cool, but it's not something that she can independently read very easily because just the amount of information and some of the words that are on there, like here, yeah, she just needs help. There's just so many like big, huge science words. So I think it's a little much for us right now. So I ended up actually just putting it back on the shelf, and we will pick that back up. So yes, I definitely want to work on paring some of this down. This is used to be where a lot of stuff was. This is actually just second grade stuff that's rolled over. I need to just get rid of most of it. Things that I found for really great deals, maybe from a free little library, we're not using them. They're taking up space, so I've got to get these things out of here. I don't know if you've ever seen where, like, if you're not using your clothes, you, like, flip them around backwards. I've thought about doing that with the books, putting their spines turned the other way. And if in a few months I haven't flipped these over to where I can see the spine, then it means I haven't used it. I'm probably not going to use it. And so it's time to get rid of it. So that's something I'm thinking about doing. Down here are all of these boxes. So many. And I mean, they go back. Oh, jeez. That's unfortunate. Anyways, they go back. This is like 2-layer. Yeah, there's 2 layers back there. So many. I have to figure out how to start using it. And then we got all these cool, like, art things for Christmas, which we want to use too. We have knowledge crates, which, doggone it, I want to use really bad, but we're just not making the time to use it. So, whoa, that looks like it's getting some moisture. I better do something with that. So yes, there's just so many resources. I need to figure out what I'm going to do. So that and finding a routine is one of my big things for the rest of the year, is figuring out how to make a routine work and how to make this work and be more minimal. Like, it would be cool if it was just like completely blank on a few and all of her little stuffies could sit there nice and pretty for class. If you have any ideas for helping me with this, or how to incorporate these when I already feel like we're a little bit short on our core days, please drop me some help down in the comments below, because this is where I'm really struggling. Is these are awesome. We love doing them, but we're just not doing them. All right, the last thing that I want to go over with is this is an addition I've done in the last few weeks, which she really likes. I put all of the tasks on the board for the day. I put the day, and then she knows what we have to do. I had a goal of learning chess. We're working on this really, really good. Thanks to Story Chess, we love that game, which is right here. She doesn't know it yet, but I got the expansion. You know, working on that minimalist thing there. Jeez. So, yeah, I have a problem. But again, if we're using it, I'm okay with it. It's the things that we're not using. So, yes, this is going really good. So that was a goal, is that we learn chess, and she is learning that. But back to this, we do it, we check it off, it goes on there every day. She really likes this. She told me the other day that how much she liked it, being able to check it off. It kind of gives her a light at the end of the tunnel. You know, how much have we checked off? And then she has started piano recently. She has piano lessons online, which is fantastic. She's really liking it, and I think it's really great to be able to learn that skill. All right, you can see she was doing one of her knowledge crate things right there on Friday. I did forget to mention the exploring nature with children. We have gotten back into using this. We are liking it. We're not doing it exactly like it says, but we're learning the topic each week, and we do like that. That's where the whole moon study came in from, was exploring nature with children. I've had this for years, and it was one that I just never could use the way that I felt that it needed to be used, but we've been enjoying it. And so this is one of those resources that sat on the shelf for a long time, but now we are actually using it and enjoying it. I did say we don't do all about reading that often, so what I've been doing is I assign her independent reading. So if we aren't doing all about reading, she will read so many chapters out of an independent reading book. So right now I have assigned her The Wish Tree by Catherine Applegate. I had pre-read this, made sure it was all good to go, and I like it. She had started to read this forever ago and then stopped, and so I'm currently pre-reading it. I think I'm going to hold off on this one for her. It's a little deep on some things, so I think I just want to postpone this one for just a little bit, but I think it's going to be good. We have officially started the third and last in the series of The Endling. We love this one. We've been holding on oh, we know it's the end, and so we haven't wanted to finish it, but we went ahead and started that, and we're loving this one. So this is our read aloud that we're doing together, and so she listens. And so I think that's all the big things. You know, we started with dimensions and we've switched over to primary, but for the most part, we have continued on. I would say our science changed, where we were doing the other one, but now we're doing this one more so. And then we're just, same thing with that history, where we're taking these little rabbit trails. We're reading books and studying different things or different topics. But yes, that is, it's going pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the year. I want to keep doing what we're doing. And I keep thinking of oh, one more thing. Studies weekly. This is a pretty cool one here too. We were doing really, really good with this when they had the online version. They still do have the online version. But they switched it all up, and it was something I could independently give her and she could just go do. Well, then they switched it, and we kind of had to relearn it. And at that time, I just didn't have the time to go in and relearn it with her. So we've switched back to doing just the little paper. So we pull this out every week. The first unit that we did was civics and government. We've got the very last one right here. And then next week we start the unit of geography. And so that will go on for many weeks. But I just always put that in here with my little, wherever my week is. And we do the little newspaper. A lot of times we may just do it in one day, but not always. If you have any questions or comments or any helpful advice for me, I ask that you put it down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, I ask that you give me a thumbs up, consider hitting that subscribe button, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!